Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's me again, JC, here again with WEDGE Concepts. And in this video, it's time to have a talk about the rat race. So if you got a little bit of time, let's go ahead and check out this video and discuss. All right, let's go. Hey, thank you for stopping by, sliding through my channel. Hey, what's going on? I had to interrupt the video to let y'all know about my book, Broke Budgeting. Okay, it's on Amazon, 5 Simple Strategies. Okay, the link is going to be in the description. Make sure you pick up a copy. I have a Kindle version as well as a paperback. All right, let's get back to your video. Again, this video I'm going to be discussing the rat race. So I got the red shirt on. So I think it's my second one that I'm doing with the red shirt. So I'm thinking that the red shirt is going to be the discussion shirt. So I don't know if I'm going to do this in 2 videos. I'm going to break it up or do it in 1. I'll see how long it is and see where it takes us. Right. So got tons of notes here because, you know, what had happened was, you know, everybody talks about this rat race, and I'm 42 now. Right. And so I just celebrated my 20-year commitment, if you will, to my chosen field. Now I'm lying. I ain't choose it. But 20 years in IT. And, you know, you look at how far you've come in 20 years in your career. You know, you come out of college and this is what you do. So, you know, when do you change? When do you get out this rat race? And, you know, I just decided to like really dig in to see like who came up with this idea of the rat race. What is the rat race? And what I found was very interesting. So I'm just going to go ahead and break this stuff down, what I found. And I think you'll find it very interesting. So my research, I found that roughly 75% of folks live paycheck to paycheck. That shouldn't really be a surprise, though. And when I say paycheck to paycheck, I mean that, you know, they're pretty much one check away from being broke. In other words, if for some reason you don't get paid this Friday, it's going to disrupt your entire flow. You feel me? So I found that the US as well as the UK, they have the largest amounts of consumer debt. So then it had me thinking, okay, if the US and the UK, why do we have so much debt? You know, what does money really mean to me? What does money mean to you? What does money actually represent, right? So if you earn 6 figures and do some research, you'll be surprised that less than 9%, I say less than 10%, because I think it was like 9.8 or something when I looked. This is the labor of statistics. That less than 10% of workers earn 6 figures. So let's say you are one of those, you fall in that category, 10%, and you make 6 figures. At the end of the year, you making 6 figures. What do you have to show for it? You know, what is in your savings? What have you purchased that's considered an asset that can generate, you know, some type of income for you, some return on investment? So I'm in the process of trying to, I guess, build or better understand the framework around money. Okay. And so, you know, understanding what money does and what it represents. Money really is nothing more at its basic level, right? Money is nothing more than just an instrument. Okay, it's a tool, right? It's a medium used to exchange. You exchange money to get something. You know, money can be used as an expression in value, right? So something that costs a lot more money is perceived to be more valuable. Okay. Now, is that good or is that bad? Is that really true or not? I mean, is that t-shirt that costs $295, is that really more valuable because it costs more? I don't know. So now, as I'm building again this framework, what does money mean to me? What does it represent? What is my relationship with money? What is your relationship with money? Because money's going to come and go, right? You get paid, the money goes out through whatever you use it. You get paid, money goes out, good, money goes out. So that's just the flow of money, right? It comes and goes. Now, you got your income, you got your expenses, right? And so you get income because you produce work, right? And you use money to consume the things that you purchase, right? So now we have this production side and this consumption side, okay? So just follow along with me, okay? So you produce work, your efforts, okay? You go to work, you get a paycheck, you use that money to buy things that are consumable. Even if it is your house, your rent, I mean, the money still goes out, expenses, but you're purchasing things. Now, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. It doesn't matter how much you're producing if the problem is with your consumption. So remember when I was saying if you make $100,000 a year, but you have nothing to show for it at the end of the year, you're producing six figures, but you're consuming all six figures. If that makes sense. So, the rat race. I went ahead and went online, Googled it, right? The definition. I think I went to Wikipedia and got it. So, the rat race is defined as an endless, self-defeating, or pointless pursuit. Endless, self-defeating, or pointless pursuit. And they also have in there a race to get ahead financially. Is it pointless? Is it endless? Is it self-defeating? I don't know. It's like everybody wants to sell you this dream that, you know, you can escape the rat race and escape the 9-to-5, and you buy these courses and you go get these self-help books and you got these quick get rich schemes, and this is how I did it in 6 months, and this is how I turned, you know, $1,000 to $1 million, and yada yada yada. But, you know, the truth is that, you know, there really are millions of people out here in this world that they actually do love their 9-to-5. They actually do love their jobs. They like their bosses. They like their coworkers. Their coworkers come to their house. They hang out with their coworkers. They enjoy the competitiveness. They love to compete in corporate America, climbing that corporate ladder. You know, they want to get to that manager level. They want to get to the 6th floor, if you will. They want to get that office and then the corner office, and they enjoy that. But when it's all said and done, you know, I guess as I looked at this framework that I'm trying to create here, maybe the rat race isn't the 9-to-5. Maybe it's really the relationship that we have with money. Right? So, how do we better the relationship when it comes to money? I'm a firm believer, 100%, that you have to tell your money where to go. You have to know how much is going where, when it's going. You have to budget. Okay? Because when your money comes in, you can say, hey, this is how much I'm spending here, whether it be percentages, whether you just have a dollar amount, whatever the case may be, you know how much you can live off of. Now, see, I'm not really all about that minimalistic and what's that, fire and living frugal. And look, I mean, you got to live your life, but you want to live within your means, right? You want to live comfortable. So knowing where your money is going, knowing where it's spent. And I mean, the easy way to do that is just to look at your statements and your transactions. Then you can see where your money goes. My pastor always told us that, you can tell where your heart is because you can see where your money's going. So what you love the most is where your money goes. I think that was, a way that, when it's time to tithe, where your heart is, that's where your money is. So if you love the Lord, go ahead and put that in the envelope. Anyway, praise God though. Okay. Anyway, so now they also say that it's something, I don't know if you heard of the Ostrich Effect. And so it's the idea that people, they want to avoid any potentially unpleasant information. So, for example, no one really wants to do a budget because if they look at their budget, they look at their transactions, they're going to see they're overspending. They're going to see that they're spending $20 a day at lunch. They're going to see that they're spending $15 a week or $20 a week. That's probably not a lot. I'm trying to think of a number, but at Starbucks buying coffee or whatever the case may be. So they'll rather just not do it because they'd rather avoid that information. You understand what I'm saying? As opposed to just facing it head on. So you get a credit card bill and you owe $7,900 such and such. And in your mind, you're like, I don't even need to open this bill or I don't even look at it because I'm just going to give them $35 and keep this puppy going. So again, it's called the Ostrich Effect. And the idea is that, the ostriches, they bury their head in the sand when they're frightened. But actually, for those who love Nat Geo, the ostriches, they actually don't bury their heads in the sand because they're nervous. Like they're looking for a place to bury their eggs because they're birds, but they don't bury their eggs in trees because they can't fly, right? They bury it in the sand. It's a little fun fact for you that you probably would never, ever use again. So the next thing is that, you want to take control of your spending. Like I mentioned before, you want to know and have some kind of systematic approach to how you're spending. You have to be able to create an emergency fund. And I've talked about this in some of my other videos. Your emergency fund is going to be about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. So you already know how much you spend per month. So if something was to happen, could you survive and pay all your bills, including food and gas, for the next 3 to 6 months? So you should definitely have a budget for at least that. Because if you can't even grow an emergency fund, how are you going to grow anything else, right? Okay. So there's also something else that I found. It's called hyperbolic discounting. And that's where you'll choose the short-term, smaller reward over the long-term, larger reward. And then I think about how, I don't know what show I was watching on NBC. And I'm guessing it's NBC because it sounds like something NBC would do. Where they had this thing where they had these kids and they had like the cookies, like delayed gratification or satisfaction. I think delayed gratification. But you have the kid where you can have 2 cookies right now. But if you can wait, and they got the cookies right there in front of you, right? So you can have these 2 cookies right now, or you'll have to wait like an hour. And then you can have 4 cookies. And just to see how these kids react, it's the same kind of concept. Now, there's also something called social proof. And I learned this in my MBA class, or one of my MBA classes. And that's when you basically are conforming to those around you. You are conforming to society. You're conforming to your neighbors. You're keeping up with the Joneses, or trying to keep up with the Joneses, if you will. And another fun fact for you: did you know that the Joneses, it was actually, or Keeping Up with the Joneses, is actually a comic strip that came out in the early 1900s, right around 1911, 1913, somewhere around there, is actually comic strip. Another fun fact for you. But, you know, in the comic strip, the Joneses were your neighbors that you never saw. So everybody's trying to keep up with their neighbors. So your neighbors get a new car, you get a new car. You know, your neighbors and your friends are getting, you know, new wardrobes and fancy stuff, and then you're following, keeping up, right? So I'm sure everybody's familiar with that term. But now, right, you're not really competing against your neighbors anymore, are you? Now we're looking at social media. Now we want to keep up with everyone that we don't even know who they are. Yet we're trying to keep up with. We're trying to do the things that they're doing. We're trying to spin and look the way they're. We're chasing something, right? I don't even know if it's attainable, but why are we chasing it? So, what if the rat race isn't necessarily working 9 to 5 or, you know, working in corporate America? Because somebody can say, you know, anybody can say that, oh, well, because I'm tired of the rat race, you know, I'm tired of the 9 to 5 working for the man, such and such and such. But what if the rat race really is about chasing that thing, that whatever that thing is for you, like whether it be a paycheck, whether it be a promotion, whether it be more money, material things, whatever. What if the rat race, you're chasing something that really has no end? You understand what I'm saying? So, as we talked about before, you know, before you can start accumulating this kind of money, you got to start with your savings account. You got to start with your emergency fund. So that's what I had to do. I had to kind of recalibrate and like, okay, I started my LLC. Now I got to put money there, but I also got to put money into my savings and my emergency fund. Because if I can't do the small things, I'm not going to be able to do the big things, right? So even if I'm just taking 5% of my paycheck and put into my savings or 5% into, you know, my emergency fund, that's doing something. You understand what I'm saying? So having to work every day to get that paycheck just to fund the lifestyle that you think you should have or you deserve, isn't that really the rat race? Isn't that the real rat race? Because you want to live a certain way. Why? Because you deserve it? Why do you deserve it? Ask yourself. Well, because you work hard? We all work hard. We just do it differently. Some people do things with ease that are difficult, but, you know, we make it. Never mind. Okay, so we talked about the production and we talked about the consuming, right? So I got that. So we got the framework. We got the budgeting. We got the relationship. How does that work? How do I view the rat race? What is the rat race? Everybody talks about how to reduce your expenses or the way you spend, right? So a lot of people don't talk about the production side. And I think, I'm only speculating, right? I think that a lot of these, you know, gurus, financial experts or whatever, they like to discuss the way you're living and how to reduce your expenses because it's much easier. You understand what I'm saying? It's much easier for me to tell you, don't spend that much money here or save more here than it is to say, produce more money, generate more money. Because the question is, okay, how do I do that? And a lot of times people don't have that answer. And now, since people don't have that answer, folks are looking to what? Get rich quick. Because how else am I going to get money? Or these little side hustles or whatever the case may be. So if we remember that money is a perceived value, right? Money equals perceived value. So if we use that logic, that same framework, you and I, we're both compensated, okay, from our employers based on how our employers perceive the value in us and the role of the job that we're in. Right? So the paycheck that you receive, HR and your boss has put a value on you and the job and the role that you're in, because don't forget these roles, because HR, they say, hey, this is the scale, you know, you're G7 to G8, this is it, this role, that's it. So that value is there. So if you increase your value, which I'm doing now by, continuing my education, is that really going to increase my value as it relates to my current job role? I mean, will my boss really just give me this extra raise like, oh, when I finish grad school, oh, James, here you go. Are they going to talk to HR and say, look, even though James is here, he's more valuable now in the same role, and, let's give him more money? Or will they say, hey, he's probably overqualified for this role, but, we'll give him his 3% at the end of the year, see what happens. He'll probably leave us soon. But does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I guess I'm supposed to be saying like, oh, comment at the bottom, let me know what you're thinking, but just let it all sit in. So how do we increase our production? Any entrepreneur, everybody has the same basic formula. Anybody who has generated or accumulated, any kind of substantial amount of money. You find a problem, you create a solution, and you sell that problem to the world, or offer that solution. You sell or offer that solution to the world. All right. Find a problem, create a solution, sell it, your solution, right? So everyone can't go that entrepreneur route. I mean, some people just aren't built for it. I don't even know if I'm built for it, but I'm creating something. I'm sharing information. Do I believe that I'm going to have a billion subscribers? No. Does that mean that I'm not optimistic? No. I just know that YouTube is a platform for me to share what I've learned over the years that's helped me tremendously, and that I can begin to help everyone around me. Because you got some people who they just want to look up, not saying towards Jesus, but they want to look up and network up so that someone can help them out, instead of looking at who is around you so that all of you guys can work this thing together. All of you guys can move up at the same time, but also look down to see who else is coming along. Look at the next generation. Why can't we help them? I'm pretty sure, for all my 40 and over folks, I'm pretty sure you've learned a lot of things, not only about life, but about finances, about education, about the workforce, credit card debt, student loans. I mean, what about being on campus that, your freshman year when you get a t-shirt and a credit card and a mug? Like, what? I just got a son right here. I'm in there, $300. Anyway, so entrepreneurship isn't for everybody, but also working a 9-to-5 isn't always bad, right? I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to wrap up with this. You never really know if the world, right, will receive or welcome whatever it is you have to offer unless you produce it, right? Unless you make it and give it back to the world. How would you know? So take this time, create something. find a problem, find a solution, and then offer that solution. Sell that solution. I think that I know that we all have talents and gifts. If you're able to identify the gift that God has given you, and you understand and receive that gift, you have a responsibility and an obligation to share that gift with the world to bring glory to his kingdom. Right? Right. So, it's been a pleasure. Been a great talk. To wrap this all up, of course, the framework is that production, consumer. You want to understand that the consumption as a consumer and what you're producing. You want to produce the max value, all that good stuff. But just think about this. Find out what you have to offer the world and make it available. Right? So take this information. Oh, yeah. Don't subscribe and don't like this video. But take this information, think about it. Let it simmer. But you know what? You can go ahead and leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. I mean, I don't even know if you made it this far. You probably clicked off on it, but I don't know if I'll make it 2 parts or not. Let's see. Maybe I'll do one extended one, see how many views, check the analytics, see if people are staying on. But take this information, use it, share it with all those you care about. Share this video if you need to, if you want to. And let's take this opportunity to really create and build something that we can share with the world. All right? All right. Next time, take it easy. Let's build something. All right. Later.